Our next session is titled AI in Education, Empowering Minds, Shaping the Future of Learning. The session will be moderated by Saquib Ahmad, and the panelists of the session are Shahid, Mahmud, Jibran, Jamshed, Faisal, Bari. Wayne Press will be joining us online. I'll quickly introduce Saquib Ahmad. Saquib Ahmad is the managing director of SAP in Pakistan, a leading enterprise software company. With almost 24 years of experience in IT and telecommunications, he's expanded SAP's presence in Pakistan. Saquib holds an MBA and a bachelor's degree in telecommunications and electronics, with recognition from the President of Pakistan for academic excellence. I think we should start now.
Thank you very much. I hope I'm audible. I think when this was introduced, this event was introduced, and when this subject was being told, I was thinking, this intro that you got of me today is about I'm the managing director of SAP today. But I think let's take me back 50 years back when I started back in my school. And that was the time when all the books we were taking our studying on. Kitab hoti thi. Aur wo kitab, jiske through we are able to connect to the education that we were talking about. You fast forward it in the next 50 years, and suddenly we see the whole way of talking, connecting, education, learning has completely changed. The book has been at times replaced by the different tools that we have in our hands. Our way of interacting and connecting with knowledge has completely changed. And the most importantly, we don't know where this world will be heading to. We talk about intelligence, we talk about artificial intelligence, we talk about how the education and health can be connected to each other. We talk about how the students of today can get the best knowledge out of the things. The time when I was growing up, it was all about we have to give an exam, we have to give an answer. Today, it's all about how to put the right question so that you can get the right answer. The way we think, the way we have to adopt, everything is changing. And that's what we'll be discussing today. AI in education. I have the honor of having Dr. Shahid Saab sitting next to me, and I think he's an authority in his field itself. Faisal Saab coming completely from the Jamshed the education sector, and Jibran coming from the technology side and currently serving Microsoft. I think we have the right panel to talk about what are the impacts of this AI in our education system and moving forward, to be honest, about mankind. 2 days back, there was this big conference that took place in Great Britain, where the Great Britain Prime Minister was also talking about how we have to control AI, how we have to put ethics in AI, how we have to make sure that this AI take into consideration not only the education and how this smart intelligence will get better than humans, and how we have to make sure that the ethical, social, cultural, and religious boundaries still be managed by this AI so that the impact on the human race is managed in a way that we all are looking forward to. You know, it's a black box today. We all know that it is there. We all know we have to pass by this. We all know we have to embrace it, but we don't know where it will lead and take up to. That's the first question, Dr. Shahid Saab, where I will come to you. What is this buzzword of AI? What impacts it has in your knowledge on education, and where it will take us up in the coming days?
Thank you, Saquib. I'm grateful to be here. This is my first ever literary festival, so it's very unusual to be in an environment where it's not the tech people, but it's the literary people. I can start with a simple comment that AI has been around since 1956. AI in education has been around since 1957. Noam Chomsky was the first person to use it for, again, language and literature in 1957. So today when we say AI in education, it is the pace at which it is now being used because technology has allowed it to be used in that fashion. One, way back when mobile phones were introduced, this was analog, not digital, and therefore the speeds were not there. Even if you used in our days internet, you had a dial-up speed and you were doing things like that. Today, with 5G there and 6G coming, the difference between, I'll take it simpler, 3G and 5G is not 3 and 5. 5G is 100 times faster than 3G. And 6G, which will be there by 2030, will be 1,000 times faster as connectivity. These phones carry 1 terabyte of data, so all our social understanding, all the things that we do, we are doing from this. Now AI has become a component because the algorithms are being used in a manner that they can crunch the numbers and text and video, and as they will progress, and I can throw some light on that, much better because we have the storage capacity and the speed in which we can communicate. So technology has allowed us to use AI. AI has been around, like I said, since '56, but the technology was not there. Today, the technology is there. Now, when we talk about AI and education, it is a foregone conclusion that we have to adopt it. How we adopt it is now a question that we all have to answer ourselves. Why we have to adopt it is 51% of the world has already adopted it. It is being used. There is no fallback. How it is being used is helping the students work better using the systems, and the teachers also using it in a manner that it facilitates and gives them more time. Bridging the digital gap is a completely different subject. So we are assuming in this conversation that we are at par with the world, where the infrastructure, nothing works without electricity, so we will have electricity, we will have the bandwidth and the capacity of storage available, therefore AI on top of that will work. The missing link right now in Pakistan in education, I think, is primarily that we have limitation of content. And that is why when I was asked that I come here in a literary festival, content is the essence of how you use AI and how you will use it in education. Because unless and until we do not create and generate content, what is it that we are trying to teach from a cultural standpoint? What you are looking at as AI today is narrow band AI. When you get to generative AI or super AI will be by 2060. That will be where the challenge is, what the British Prime Minister is now trying to tackle. The challenge will be that AI will allow you to emulate your emotional thinking and sensing. Right now it is just reading text and it is just playing around with graphics and videos. But when it starts emulating your emotional sensing and emotional behavior, that is where a new age will come. And before space age, I call it, there is a famous writer, he's an astronaut actually, Hall is his name, you can Google him, talks about the conscience age. Conscience age is what we have to prepare our educational system towards, because it will be how ethically we use it. If we don't use it, let me give you a straight number. Saquib knows I'm a very number kind of guy. We have 45% of Pakistan under the age of 18, which is approximately 110 million. In the next 70 years, we will add another 150 million people. So 150 plus 110 is 260 million Pakistanis, which will be the 5th largest population of the world. If it is not equipped with AI knowledge base and understanding, we will be held responsible. So how do we put it in place? That is the challenge for today.
Dr. Shahid Saab has put a very interesting point over here. And I absolutely agree with that claps over here. AI is there for a while. It has been there for a very long time. What has changed now is that only technology has helped and enabled us to reach it everywhere. And that's the technology bandwidth that is being providing over there. And as we will move forward, as you rightfully pointed out, the life is going to be completely changed, and there are new versions of this AI coming in. Faisal Saab, if I come to you with your all experience teaching in the alums and getting interaction with all the kind of students, which over the period of 25 years, it is its own direction in its own way. This word AI, we heard generative AI, we heard super AI. What is this happening with this AI, and how we have to deal with all these different versions, and what are these versions?
बहुत शुक्रिया। सो मेरा इंटरेक्शन स्टूडेंट से होता है, उस पर्सपेक्टिव से और रिसर्च से होता है। इन दो पर्सपेक्टिव से ज़्यादा आई विल टॉक टू कि अभी फ़िलहाल क्या हो रहा है। देखें, जब एआई का शुरू हुआ तो स्टूडेंट्स का पहला हमारा जो इंटरेक्शन एआई से था वो ये था कि स्टूडेंट्स ने पेपर अपने एआई के ज़रिए लिख के भेजने शुरू कर दिए थे। सो द इंटायर आइडिया ऑफ प्लेजरिज्म और कहाँ से आ रहा है, व्हाट इज़ हैपनिंग, दैट वाज द फर्स्ट चैलेंज वी हैड व्हेन चैट जीपीटी केम, एंड दैट वाज इन अ वे इट वाज, ज़ाहिर है आप गूगल पे भी कर सकते थे, आप और तरीके से भी कर सकते थे, पर एआई से वो ज़्यादा सोफिस्टिकेटेड होता जा रहा है, ज़्यादा मुश्किल होता जा रहा है। अब आप सिर्फ उसको टर्निटिन वगैरह में डालें तो नहीं पता लगता कि ये प्लेजराइज है या नहीं, उसको थोड़ा सा ज़्यादा सोफिस्टिकेटेड तरीके से देखना पड़ता है। सो दैट, आई मीन, अ लॉट ऑफ आवर university interaction initially was of concern by faculty about what will happen to learning if AI comes in this manner only, right? And it was a very defensive reaction by most of the faculty that I know, कि भाई ये how are we going to teach, what are we going to do, we have to change instruments of assessment, instruments of submission of work and so on, that will allow us to better gauge if a person is just reproducing through AI or doing something else, right? But I think वो stage बड़ी जल्दी गुजरी, and people now, the key question that a lot of universities and faculty are grappling with is how do you internalize AI in a way that it becomes a help in learning and teaching students, right? And it's very possible to do that. So even in my own courses, I give complete freedom to students if they want to use AI or ChatGPT or whatever to do the research and the work. It's exactly like if you're doing group work or if you're doing work with other friends and so on. It should be absolutely collaborative. AI should work in that direction. But the question, how does it help your understanding? So the key here is, are you reproducing? Are you getting someone else to give work that you hand in? Or are you trying to use these tools as a way of enhancing your understanding? If it is the latter, that's where I think AI can help a lot, or any of these technologies can help a lot, because they can allow the students to customize their learning a lot more. They can allow students to learn on their own pace. They can allow them to really manage the level at which each student takes place. हमारी एक बहुत बड़ी प्रॉब्लम होती है जब हम क्लास में पढ़ाते हैं तो we can only pitch it at a level. We can move it a little around, but it is always pitched at a level. I think tools like AI, personalized learning and so on allow a lot more freedom to us in terms of how we can pitch our teaching. Research side पे जो problems आ रही हैं वो आपको पता ही है कि journals में articles वगैरह चल जाते हैं, AI generated, ये वो उस तरह की चीज़ें. But again, वो मेरे ख्याल में तो I think that's a continuous process. Journals and other people have to just keep one step ahead of it and to figure out how to weed out any bad use of technology. But on the other side, the good use of technology is very vast. मैं आखिरी एक चीज़ कह के देखिए, दूसरी बात जो डॉक्टर साहब ने भी बात की, इस वक्त भी हमारे 23-24 मिलियन बच्चा 5 से 16 साल का स्कूलों से बाहर है. That's about 1/3 of our school age population in Pakistan, right? We are not able to reach. EdTech की बहुत अरसे से बात जारी है कि जी there's potential in EdTech, there's a lot we can do by reaching out to these students through EdTech, etc. उसमें मसाइल हैं कि जी बिजली नहीं है, वो sophisticated technology नहीं है, हर बच्चे के पास इंटरनेट नहीं है, फलाना वो इशू हैं वहाँ. लेकिन when I combine the potential of AI, EdTech, and see the possibilities of trying to reach a population that is now very large, and where bringing everyone to a classroom might become very, very hard for us, simply from the perspective of not having the infrastructure, the teachers and everything else that is required in physical environment. I think that potential for AI and other assistive tools to come into that space and allow us to provide the needed skills for children, whether it be language or maths or anything else, that potential is massive. So far we haven't been able to crack it somehow. हमारे best edtech providers भी अभी they're still smaller in number, 50,000, 1 lakh student, 2 lakh student. But I think that potential of reaching millions is very much there. I'll stop there.
Thank you very much, Faisal Saab. I think the point that both of you have made is very interesting. First of all, A is about a collection of data, and right now what the systems are doing, getting that information out of the data and giving it to you. It doesn't carry the emotional quotient today. And what we are talking about, that in the coming 20 to 30 years, this emotional quotient that makes the human different from the machine will be added into the AI. And then the decision making of that AI will be based on that criteria as well. Is this something that the machine will do, or is this something that we will do? That's the direction that we are heading to. Secondly, the topic that was highlighted is about Pakistan. How much reach that we have to the young population of Pakistan today, so that they impact can be done of intelligence out there. I think that's the two important points that were highlighted. Jibran, coming to you, we have been talking about AI, we have been talking about tools, we have been talking about internet, we have been talking about the information of data that is available everywhere. Does in the moving world and in the next coming world of AI, do we really need the teachers? Do we really feel that this AI will replace that teacher that is present of today, and they will be using the set of information? And how do you feel that this AI can help the teachers today to get to the results that we are looking for?
आप तो सीधे ही पेट पे दांत मार रहे हैं.
See, it's a great question. And
इसलिए सवाल मैंने उनसे किया था, आपसे नहीं.
or, I mean, this is something literally in every talk we come across these things, right? The impact of AI on the job market. And this brings me back to the thing where today we are in the 4th industrial revolution. आप चौथे industrial revolution में हैं. So if you go back maybe 100 years ago, 120 years ago, so the entire transportation, even in a market like US, was on horses and carts. घोड़ों के ऊपर सारा transportation जो था वो पूरे US का था. There were 100,000 horses which were used to move the entire New York from one place to another. There were different industries which were associated with that. And then 20 years down the road, in 1920, all these horses and carts, they were replaced by cars, trains, trams, because you had electricity, you had these engines, you have got mass assembly lines and all these things. And the world moved from one industrial revolution to another. And the question was, okay, there were millions of people associated with a certain industry. And in a span of 20 years, that industry does not exist. तो उन लोगों का क्या हुआ? And then the answer is कि जितनी jobs पहले थी, industrial revolution आने के बाद, second industrial revolution आने के बाद, jobs बढ़ गई, jobs कम नहीं हुई. उसकी example है, जब आपके पास गाड़ी आई तो इंश्योरेंस इंडस्ट्री आपके सामने आई. ये जो आपको सड़कों पे बिलबोर्ड्स और एडवर्टाइजमेंट नज़र आते हैं, ये इंडस्ट्री आपके पास सामने आई. आपके पास ऑटोमोबाइल इंडस्ट्री पूरी आई, वर्कशॉप्स आए आपके पास, ड्राइवर्स जो हैं वो आपको नज़र आने स्टार्ट हुए. सो एवरीबडी फाउंड समथिंग विच वॉज प्रॉब्ली equal or much better. And the same analogy goes from second to third, third to fourth. Today we are in 4th industrial revolution. And now जो बात बार बार आ रही है emotional skills की, emotional understanding की, compassion की, empathy की. And this is where today in 4th industrial revolution you have got AI. Artificial intelligence आपके पास है. But humans और artificial intelligence का जो है मिलाप नहीं हो पा रहा है. We are not able to understand each other at this point in time. And the next industrial revolution would be about humans and AI working together, which is the 5th industrial revolution, which is not very far away. Now the role of the teacher is very important. मैं international बात नहीं करूँगा. I would not talk about the stats and numbers कि पूरी दुनिया में क्या होने वाला है. पर अगर आप पाकिस्तान की आज बात करें, it's a youth bulge we have, right? पाकिस्तान की जो सबसे बड़ी बेट है इस वक्त, and the entire public sector, government, they are being focused कि किसी तरह से जो IT dominant industry है पूरी दुनिया में, पाकिस्तान उसमें से अपना कुछ शेयर ले सके. Because you have got this youth pulse out there, right? 65% of the young population is living in Pakistan. We don't have a lot of industries. यहाँ पे बहुत ज़्यादा industrialization नहीं है, बहुत ज़्यादा investment नहीं है. So imagine if today somebody who is 18 years old, 20 years old, he or she gets the right skills of the future, तो उसके बाद जाके there are 150 million jobs across the globe which are sitting idle, which are waiting for students to come and grab them. तो इसको अगर आप देखेंगे इस सिनेरियो में तो अपॉर्चुनिटी बहुत बड़ी है और टीचर का जो प्रिसाइसली रोल है वो कम नहीं होने वाला, वो बढ़ने वाला है. उसकी वजह ये है, शाहिद साहब ने कहा कि जी AI की 1956 से हिस्ट्री है. So somebody needs to understand कि AI साल 2 साल पहले नहीं आया. There was weak AI, there was machine learning, there was deep learning. Now we are into generative AI. Teachers needs to understand these things. They need to get reskilled and बच्चों को पढ़ाने का जो एक ही तरीका है वो ये है कि जो multiplier effect है 1:40 का. So if a teacher understands, teacher would go and train another 40 students who would go and who would get these opportunities of the future. Very last thing on this particular question, these things I think जब बात करते हैं अच्छी लगती हैं. What is one key takeaway? So if you ask me what is one key takeaway, go to LinkedIn. It's a platform which is owned by Microsoft. There is a course, Career Essentials on AI by Microsoft and LinkedIn. Spend 4 hours on that course. It will change your perspective. It will give you a lot of knowledge. And probably after maybe 1 month, you are sitting here and telling 10 other people about the change. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jibran. I think teachers are there to stay. And it's not about the teacher is a person who has either white hair or no hair. It's about the experience that person carries, which can be further given to the other person. So I think that role can never be taken away, not from the technical background or technical education that we talk about, but also from our socio-economic cultures background that we carry at this very point of time as well. Mr. Wine has also joined us over there. Welcome, Mr. Wine. I hope you can hear me.
I can. Thank you very much, and thanks for the opportunity to join you.
I believe you can hear me, but we can't hear you. The technology on the AI forum needs to get improved. So I think by the time the voice comes in, Shahid Saab, I come back to you. This AI, and I've been talking about generative AI, super AI, there are AIs and AIs and AIs. Where we are heading to? Are we talking now that there is a degree of MBA, so there is a degree in AI, of generative, blah, blah? Where is the future of these different technology parts that we see today?
The future, obviously, the roadmap is very much there. Like I said, we are currently tackling the narrowband AI. And as we progress and technology improves, let's get a perspective on technology. Every 6 months to 18 months, we are doubling our processing power, we are doubling our communication power, we are doubling the storage power, we are enhancing on the infrastructure side quite rapidly. Way back in 2010, there were more connected devices than humans on Earth. So the data that was generated from the humans and the data that was generated from connected devices in totality is what is now with the processing power pushing these things. The roadmap, like I said, by 2060 is that the technology will be able to emulate human emotions and human reasoning. And this is what is becoming an ethical challenge and is one of the biggest debates right now in the world. So the roadmap is very clear. This is where it is going. And obviously the humans want somebody to do tasks. So it was originally, as quoted by Jibran, that there were horses and then carts came and cars came, then driverless cars are coming, and then we're moving in that direction. We're going into space age. So before space age will be this conscience age. And that is what I think we need to look at. Oh, I think.
Okay, no, you can continue. I will go to the
Okay.
main immediately.
So when it comes to technology, I think the simplest way for non-technical people to understand is each one of you is emitting data. Each one of you is processing and contributing to the data world by virtue of using social media or whatever you do. You must have noticed that when you talk about something, Google starts pushing. So there is a economic dynamics to it, there is a social dynamics to it, there are other dynamics to it. So data, when used in a manner that it is trying to get as close and as connected to the human, has a financial angle to it also. Now comes another question. I was asked this question, I was asked by somebody to go and talk to kids who were grade 5, grade 6, suburbs of Lahore, a welfare school. The gentleman said, I am paying them money, I don't know how good they're doing, so please go and talk to them. And I'm giving this as a perspective to understand where the young mind is. The 250 million people that I talk about in the future, this is where the mind is. So I went there and the teacher, the principal had already said कि जी ये डॉक्टर साहब जो हैं AI और उन्होंने कहा जी आप AI पे बात करेंगे. मैंने कहा यार ये 5 साल के बच्चे मतलब 5th grade के बच्चे को मैं AI कैसे समझाऊं? खैर I gave my lecture and everything, and then just to see how the lecture was and how much did they get, I asked the kids. The first kid raised his hand and said कि जी हम AI को जो है ना जितने फैक्ट्री में वर्कर्स हैं उनको रिप्लेस कर देंगे. जिस तरह अभी हम बात करें जितने टीचर्स हैं उनको रिप्लेस कर देंगे, ये कभी नहीं होगा. आई सेड अगर हम उनको रिप्लेस कर देंगे तो फिर नौकरियां कहाँ से आएंगी, फिर लाइवलीहुड कैसे आएगा, कैसे करोगे? इमीडिएटली अनदर किड रेज्ड हिज हैंड एंड ही सेड कि सर मुझे पता है क्या करना है. मैंने कहा जी बताएं. उन्होंने कहा जी हम AI उस जगह पे इस्तेमाल करेंगे और रोबोटिक्स को उस जगह पे इस्तेमाल करेंगे जहाँ पे इंसान को ख़तरा हो. To save a human life, we will use this. Now, keep that perspective clear in your minds that we are trying to achieve that goal. Why are we achieving that goal? There will be 11.3 billion people on the surface of this earth. We have already tipped 6 of the 9 tipping points of the earth's climate. This race between how we bring nature into control, I give it as an example, Avatar movies are the best. What are they trying to show you? That it is cyborgs trying to get back to nature. The humans, when they are 11.3 million on this earth, would need all the technology to balance Earth's resources so that we can all live in a conscious world. If we take that with that perspective, everything falls into place.
Very nicely explained, sir. I think that's where we are heading to. It's all about our conscious, it's all about how we perceive things. It's all about how much power we used to have to make the decision making. You know, in one of the talks I went in and I said that, you know, what of the CEOs today need? They need the right set of data at the right time to make the right decision. And why they hire all these people is only to do this, to provide them that right set of data at the right time. That's why the whole ecosystem of technology that we are working is working along with us. Okay, I think then let me continue the discussion forward over there, and I will come on to the point of ethics and compliance and AI. बहुत बड़ी जंग है, बहुत बड़ा सोच है, बहुत बड़ा दुनिया इस टाइम इस सोच में पड़ी हुई है कि ये AI हमारे रिलीजन पे क्या इम्पैक्ट करेगी, इस AI का हमारे कल्चर पे क्या इम्पैक्ट होना शुरू होगा. क्या ये AI, ये तमाम सेट ऑफ इंफॉर्मेशन और नॉलेज आ रही है, हमारी नई जनरेशन के ऊपर उसका क्या इम्पैक्ट होना शुरू होगा? Will there be a rules defined to use it in a certain area or in a certain technology fact? Will there a compliance or ethics defined by some global body to tell how this AI can be utilized in all different ways? All these are open questions at this point of time. The world is trying to make an AI frame of work so that all this can be defined, but we don't have it today because the speed of the technology is going so fast, and to be honest, in Pakistan, we are running after it. And that's where it comes. So, sir, where do you see the role of ethics, compliance, specifically in AI?
अच्छा, ये दो तीन एग्जांपल्स अगर देखें कि पहले भी टेक्नोलॉजी में चेंजेस तो आए हैं ना, लेकिन वी हैव बीन एबल टू मैनेज इट। आप ये देखिए कि किसी वक्त में भी कितने हज़ार हवाई जहाज़ उड़ रहे होते हैं, लेकिन वी हैव ए एविएशन अथॉरिटी, चाहे वो अमेरिका हो, इंग्लैंड हो, द स्काईज ओवर यूरोप एट्सेट्रा। It's a fairly complex system with a fairly complex engineering where a tube is taken up into the air 30,000-40,000 feet, and it works. And it works, and it's considered one of the safest forms of transport, right? Over time, we have been able to evolve the safety measures, the what is permissible, what is not. ये नहीं कि गलती नहीं होती उसमें, ये accident नहीं होते, हो जाते हैं. But we have been able to work out what the details. So I'm very optimistic about this also. I don't see why we can't work out rules and regulations and what is permissible, what is not. उसमें चीटिंग वगैरह तो होगी, उसमें और भी चीज़ें आएंगी, वो इवॉल्व भी करेगा, लेकिन क्या वजह है कि हमें एआई से इतना डर लगता है और बाकी टेक्नोलॉजीज़ बहुत सारी जो हैं उनसे नहीं लगता। आखिर हम दूसरी तरफ क्लोनिंग और डीएनए और बाकी चीज़ों पे भी जा रहे हैं, इंसान वहाँ भी हम शायद किसी वक्त प्रोड्यूस कर लें और करना शुरू कर दें, लेकिन एआई साइड पे एक फियर आता है कि जैसे ये इंसान को रिप्लेस कर देगा। ये आपने टीचर्स की बात की, न सिर्फ टीचर, इमोशंस भी रिप्लेस हो गए, ये भी रिप्लेस हो गया, वो भी हो गया, इंसान क्या करें? क्या वो फ्यूचर आ जाएगा वो जो हमें उसमें वो दिखाया जाता है, ये जो आर्नल्ड श्वार्ज़नेगर की मूवीज़ हैं, वो पता नहीं
बैक टू द फ्यूचर,
वो आके बंदे मारने शुरू कर दिए, ये कर दिया, वो कर दिया, वो ठीक है। आई मीन दीज आर पॉसिबल फ्यूचर्स मे बी, बट व्हाई इज़ इट दैट वी थिंक दैट वो वाला फ्यूचर होगा और वो नहीं होगा? जिसकी बात हो रही है कि वेयर एआई कैन बी यूज्ड for the benefit of humanity and for the benefit of balancing our living in this world and maybe beyond these worlds, but it will not be a cause for fear and terror for us कि वो हमारी ज़िंदगी बिल्कुल ख़त्म कर देगा एज इंसान। सो आई थिंक वो रूल्स एंड रेगुलेशंस इवॉल्व करने की ज़रूरत है। तो हर चीज़ के साथ साथ जैसे जैसे वो आएगी और वो थोड़ा वक्त लगता है उसमें, इसमें सिर्फ पेस बहुत ज़्यादा है, but I mean that's like evolving any other set of rules with any new technology that we have come. आज भी देखें ना, वो सारी बहस आज भी चल रही है कि भाई ट्रांसप्लांट अलाउ होना चाहिए। सारे मज़ाहिब के डिफरेंट अपने अपने सोच है उस पर कि जी आप गुर्दा ट्रांसप्लांट कर सकते हैं या नहीं, आप किसी जानवर का कर सकते हैं या नहीं, इंसान का ही लेना ज़रूरी है, ये सारी बहस साथ साथ ही चलती है और सोसाइटीज़ उसके साथ साथ इवॉल्व करती रहती हैं अपने रूल्स।
देखिए, जब हम आज न्यूक्लियर पावर की बात करते हैं तो न्यूक्लियर बॉम्ब भी बना सकती है और न्यूक्लियर पावर एनर्जी भी बना सकती है। इट ऑल डिपेंड्स वो किस हाथ में पाई जा रही है। सिमिलरली एआई भी बिल्कुल उसी तरह, ये उस पर डिपेंड करता है कि हम उसको किस हाथ में दे रहे हैं, उसको किस पैराहे, किस फ्रेमवर्क के अंदर डिफाइन कर रहे हैं, ताकि आज जो हमारी अकल समझ मौजूद है उसके मुताबिक हम उसको आगे लेके जा सकें। So Wine, I'm coming back to you again, and the technology is trying to take a different shift today, so we will be hear you towards the mic on the other side. So first of all, can you hear me loud and clear?
Thank you. Lovely to join you.
Yeah, so coming back to the point, and we have been discussing AI overall in quite a detail, friends over there as well. One of the questions that I wanted to ask you is that are the students of today are not getting too much reliant on AI? Because if I go back on my times, I was used to follow the book. I was used to even remember the things and the definitions and doing the calculations by myself. But the student of today is just going and getting dependent on AI. How much this dependency is right and how much we feel it will be much more reliant on AI as we move forward there?
That's an excellent question. And with any technology, I think it's always important that we embrace the technology in the right way. And I think the intention always needs to be sort of laser sharp focused on improving education. With that in mind, I always say we need to be sort of really clear on what learning outcomes are that we're wanting to achieve with students and with learners when using AI. Just as a teacher would consider any multitude of tools, any multitude of ways of actually teaching a topic, AI is one of those tools that could be used in that process. In order to get that balance that you speak about, sort of between human and AI learning, so a couple of things we need to keep top of mind, and I think particularly when it comes to young learners, I think there is already a concern around an over-reliance on devices. All acknowledge and all know the importance of human interaction when actually trying to develop various aspects of a human being. So we need to just keep top of mind again sort of that right balance of device use versus non-device use. Let's have already spoken about plagiarism, potential for learners to not actually learn but use AI as a tool to generate content that they put forward as their own. I think in a survey in the UK, teachers suspected that actually 2/3 of assignments being submitted were actually being written by AI as opposed to the students themselves. So I think this is a concern and something that needs to be sort of also kept top of mind. I think really important for us as teachers, important for us as parents, and important for us as any education product providers, make sure that learners are equipped in a world where AI is going to be very prevalent. That in mind, I think it's really important that we use education to educate learners around the safe use of AI being one key area. So that same AI tools have to create misleading information also means we need to develop new skills such as critical ignoring, being able to really work through what is true, what is fake. For example, if any of you watched the Global AI Safety Summit, Rishik Parmar, who is the CEO of BCS, the Chartered Institute of IT, said we need to see a greater emphasis on the role of AI in education because young people have the right to be taught about its capabilities, to be taught about its risks and its potential to ensure they can thrive. So I think it's really, again, a focus on education and a focus on sort of developing the skills and the abilities for learners to discern and sort of make maximum use of AI. I think other important skills that I know has been a focus in education for a number of years already, but become even more important, and that sort of includes things like critical thinking, creative problem solving, and also digital literacy just in general. All of this, I think we also need to prioritize genuine learning and topic understanding. So when AI tools are positioned as providers of knowledge, to encourage students to bypass processes like practical experimentation, independent cognitive reasoning that needs to take place as part of any development. So we need to consider how we really ensure that these are focused on across different subjects in different ways. That's curricular.
Got the crux of your message, and I think that's absolutely agree that it is a major impact on the education front that we are talking about today. So I'll be coming back to you once this technology gets fixed again. Jibran, coming back to you. I quoted this example in one of my talks earlier. So I have a son, 20-year-old, working in the university, and he said to me on my dinner table once that I don't know, आपकी generation को बड़ा प्राउड फील होता है कि उनको पहाड़े आते हैं और आप बड़े फख्र से कहते हैं जी कि आप ये कैलकुलेशन अपने माइंड में कर सकते हैं. So you have this generation has a great pride about it. Okay, you can do these things. He said, you know, in my generation I have got a calculator. I can calculate the thing just putting on that machine, and I can use my mind for something better utilized. And that's the change that we want you to embrace, that we can get the output from a machine and can use that one. And that's we are the generation of today going to use the tools. Taking that example, do you think that the way this whole education system is working today will be completely changing now? The open books exam are already there. हमारे दौर में हम कहते थे हमें चीटिंग करने का मौका मिल जाए कुजा के भी आज हम बात करते हैं कि they are open books, you can give the answers from anywhere that we talk. Where is this education system going with this technology that we are talking about?
Ji. And then this is a very sort of an important question and then discussion. There are two parts of things, right? The first part is there's a resistance to change. I was reading some old academic journals and all these things a few weeks back. There was a big resistance when people were moving from slate to paper, and they were saying it's a big threat to the education system. And when from pencil to pen, it was a big challenge. And in my work life, I've seen going and speaking to university, schools and colleges, and in talking about the digital technology, before COVID, there was a lot of resistance. जब COVID आया, तो there was no other option. The adoption happened at a very, very fast pace. इसी तरह artificial intelligence का भी एक resistance का I think एक cycle है, which would break. But on the other hand, what is more important? I'm sure Saquib, you are also using AI on daily basis. For example, I have to write 20 emails every day. I don't have that bandwidth, neither you have. So probably if I'm using a generative AI tool to write those 20 emails for me, using a co-pilot technology, for example, probably it's not a bad thing to be done, right? Because मेरी skills आज इतने साल के बाद email लिखने पे measure नहीं होंगी. My skills should be measured on something better, which suits my profile. इसी तरह teachers का अगर आप role देखें, I was going through a study. Almost 40% time of a teacher is lost in an administrative stuff. जो administrative चीज़ें हैं, उनमें teachers का बहुत ज़्यादा time ज़ाया होता है. That time is not going back to the class or to the students to foster learning and innovation. So if you put this technology with teachers and they are able to save some time, they are able to be more productive, I think this is something good. अब उसकी 2-3 examples we can take very quickly. Harvard का एक बड़ा famous course है. I'm also planning to enroll because it's online available as well. It's a good refresher, CS 550. And they are experimenting the same thing over there in that course. They are spinning up a chatbot and they're saying कि जी जो teacher or teaching assistant का role है, this should be for some things which the basic level of technology cannot do. तो जो बेसिक आपका दिन में बच्चों का इंट्रैक्शन है, उन्होंने चीज़ें पूछनी हैं, उनको इन्फॉर्मेशन चाहिए, उनको एक्सेस चाहिए, वो सारे का सारा एक चैटबॉट अगर कर सकता है, you would not engage teacher over there. इसी तरह people who are part of education sector, since 1800s I think there is this 2 sigma problem theory which exists. कि if you put attention and individual attention to a child, तो उसका जो result है, वो बहुत बेहतर आता है as compared to a child जिसको आप इंडिविजुअल अटेंशन नहीं दे सकते. आज आप कितने बच्चों को इंडिविजुअल अटेंशन दे सकते हैं, प्राइवेट ट्यूटर रख के दे सकते हैं. सो व्हाट यू डू इज के इफ़ यू पुट एआई टू टास्क फॉर पर्सनलाइज्ड लर्निंग, इट वुड चेंज द गेम. मैं एक बड़ी पाकिस्तान की रीसेंट एग्जांपल दूंगा एंड देन आई विल स्टॉप इन द इंटरेस्ट ऑफ टाइम. गवर्नमेंट ऑफ पाकिस्तान इन फेडरल दे पास्ड अ लॉ कि जी वी वुड हेल्प एंड सपोर्ट किड्स हु हैव गॉट रीडिंग चैलेंजेस. Very precisely, अगर कोई बच्चा है उसको dyslexia है, we should have a policy for that. And I had a meeting and I said कि जी let's take a look at this tool. There is an AI powered tool by Microsoft called Immersive Reader. We put that tool into the pilot mode and all it was doing was taking all the text which was unreadable and was making it more and more readable. And very very last point, जिस पे शाहिद साहब ने बात भी की थी कि जी 28 मिलियन बच्चे पाकिस्तान में आज ब्लू कॉलर जॉब्स कर रहे हैं, उनके पास कोई फ्यूचर नहीं है बिकॉज आपके पास उनके लिए स्कूल्स नहीं हैं, टीचर्स नहीं हैं. सो टेक्नोलॉजी इज़ दैट एवेन्यू विच नीड्स टू बी एक्सप्लोर्ड टू हैव AI powered smart and digital schools. So it's a reality and it would definitely help the education sector. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jibran. Very well pointed out on that front. I will go to Wine in a minute to take the final comments, but just wanted to ask the audience. I think it was 5-6 years back. There was an Oscar-nominated award movie called She. I don't know आप लोगों में से कितने लोगों ने वो देखी थी कि नहीं. इसका बड़ा interesting concept था. So there was a guy who was all alone. He was all alone in the life, nothing fine. And one fine day, he downloads an app on his mobile. He selects with his own choice that he has to take a male voice or a female voice. He selects a female voice in that one, and then that voice becomes his friend. And that voice start going into the Facebooks on the stars of the world and start knowing about the person. So that voice came in and the lady was Mary, that was named by her in that tool. So the Mary says, okay, give me 10 minutes, I will get to know about you. So she goes and scans everything on the internet, knows what are the liking and disliking of the persons. And during the course of that movie, for almost 80 minutes, the guy gets so much connected to that lady, to that Mary, that all his time was only be connected with him. And he gets emotionally involved with that creature that he made himself. So at the end of the movie, when it was 10 minutes left, he calls Mary. So whenever he calls Mary, Mary will immediately come and start talking about with him. One fine day after 80 minutes, Mary came late, which was not usual. So the Mary came like 10 minutes late and said, "Where were you? I was waiting for you. It never happened. Whenever I called you, you were there." And the Mary said, "Look, I have to manage 28,000 people all on the same time. That's my capacity that I carry. So sorry, I was busy a little today." And here the emotional package immediately goes away, because when Dee realizes that this emotional content that I've connected with us is managing 28,000 people all in the same day. Technology is, and the AI is going in that direction. Dr. Wine, with that note, I come back to you and asking you the final comments on the discussion. The technology has been difficult for you, but let's hope we get your final comments in a clear way.
We undertook a really detailed survey of over 1,200 teachers across the globe. And I think what they came back with, 69% of them at least came back with, is that they are cautiously optimistic about AI. And I love that frame, because I think it sort of really is good to be cautious in the sense of the safe and ethical use of AI, but at the same time to be optimistic about what it can do for education. So really embracing it, I think, is key, but embracing it in a safe and ethical way. And keeping that unrelenting focus on learning outcomes, I think, is really important. As I mentioned before, teachers use many ways of teaching and moving learning forward, and AI needs to be considered as one of those tools to support that. At OUP, I think we really talk about AI as the co-pilot in education. So we believe strongly that AI should be helping teachers to perform their role rather than seeking to replace them. So when implementing any technology using AI, whether it be to personalize learning, whether it be to create independent learning opportunities, we must continue to really prioritize the role of the teacher as an educator, a guide, an advisor, and as a supporter. So thank you.
Thank you very much. The idea was that we get that global angle of AI for Mr. Wang, because sometimes we, in this part of the world, are usually following the trends. And there are the trends that are being made on the other side part of the world. And the idea is that we take the best advantage of that one. I'll be coming for the final comments, Jibran. In 1 minute, final comments. What need to be taken care in Pakistan to make AI available for everybody, and how we can take the best use of that one?
I think left, right, and center, there should be a focus on AI skilling first and foremost for all organizations. This is one. Second is कि जो responsible AI है, it's a big topic. All companies, leading companies have published their frameworks. How to use technology in a way where it is only used for good and meaningful innovation. It is not used for any bias or creating any harm. So while you are building up your skills and you are trying to put technology to work, but the responsible use of technology, that framework needs to be adopted. And today organizations need to have, जिस तरह board होता है organization में, इस तरह they need to have this AI ethics council. Every organization needs to have. And the last part is, I think, to have very, very meaningful innovation. जिसकी शायद साहब ने बात भी की थी कि जी किसी की जान बचाने के लिए इस्तेमाल होगी. तो वो जो meaningful innovation है, उसको इस्तेमाल करें. And on our way, we will face these challenges कि जी deep fakes है, cloning है. Remember few years ago, social media use करना नहीं आता था. So many of us were victim to the social media. इसी तरह से AI भी एक वक्त आएगा when these guardrails will be pulled and kept together in a way, और ये frameworks implement होंगे. It will only be used in a way कि वो control करेगा किसी भी harm को, bias को, prejudice को. So that's my takeaway. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jibran. Faisal Saab, coming to you. As a teacher, how would you like AI to be part of your teaching content as of today, which can help the generation coming next?
इसके दो लेवल हैं जी. एक तो स्कूल लेवल पे मेरा ख्याल है एडटेक में भी काफ़ी काम की ज़रूरत है, जिसमें कंटेंट प्रोडक्शन भी है और एआई का यूज़ इन आई थिंक पर्सनलाइजिंग लर्निंग, वो भी काफ़ी ज़्यादा अभी काम होगा उस पर और उसकी ज़रूरत है. असल प्रॉब्लम उसकी आएगी जब हम उसको रोल आउट करेंगे एट स्केल, तो उसका कैसे यूसेज किया जा सकता है, क्योंकि जो स्कूल का लेवल होता है उसकी एजुकेशन थोड़ी सी फ़र्क है यूनिवर्सिटी से। यूनिवर्सिटी में हम इतना ज़्यादा फ़िक्र नहीं करते अबाउट द अटेंशन स्पैन ऑफ द स्टूडेंट एंड द देयर मोटिवेशन लेवल्स, बट स्कूल लेवल पे वो इट मैटर्स अ लॉट मोर। तो वो कितने एंगेज होते हैं, नहीं होते, वो सारी चीज़ें, और अगर इमोशंस की तरफ जाता है, मेरी बनती है, तो शायद वो बेहतर हो जाए स्कूल लेवल पे एटलीस्ट रादर देन यूनिवर्सिटी। यूनिवर्सिटी पे भी आई एम श्योर लोग एतराज़ नहीं करेंगे मेरी का। दूसरी चीज़ जो यूनिवर्सिटी लेवल पे है वो है हमारे बहुत सारी फैकल्टी को अभी बहुत ज़्यादा ट्रेनिंग की ज़रूरत है कि वो एआई का इस्तेमाल कैसे आहिस्ता आहिस्ता अपने लें। अभी वो मेरे ख्याल में बहुत ज़्यादा घबरा रहे हैं, डर रहे हैं, रिलक्टेंट हैं, वो समझते हैं कि शायद लर्निंग प्रोसेस इससे इम्पैक्ट होकर नेगेटिव हो जाए। लेकिन हाउ डू यू टर्न दैट पेज and perspective and make them much more positive about the use of AI? I think वो पहला काम तो वो करने की ज़रूरत है।
My wife is sitting in the crowd already. I hope this AI will help me in understanding my wife in the best possible way that we work today. Dr. Saab, one thing I wanted to ask specifically as a final question towards you. I think we all understand the importance of AI. We all understand we have to be part of this one. We can't be left behind. In Pakistan, if you are given the charge of this AI management, what are the 3 things that you would do now and which are the results that you will see next 10 years?
पहले तो let me put everyone's mind at ease. What AI is doing is churning data that is already out there into a format that we want to read or look at. So जो आपके बेटे ने सवाल पूछा था ना आपसे कि आप मैथमेटिकल वो करके मुझे इम्प्रेस करते हैं, मेरे पास तो कैलकुलेटर है, उसी से आप पूछिएगा कि शेक्सपियर को और बुल्ले शाह को ज़रा कंपेयर करके दिखाओ यूजिंग द एआई। नहीं कर सकता, बिकॉज देर इज़ नो कंटेंट on our culture and our literary things out there. So the one thing that we have to do, and if I was given that mandate, I would only stick to one thing. We have to digitize by law anything and everything that we do and put it out there. Because only then will our children and our future generations will understand our identity. If we do not digitize, हम बहुत घबराते हैं अपने आप को डिजिटाइज करने में, बिकॉज वो समझते हैं कि जी आके कोई पकड़ लेगा, चाहे वो नैब है या कोई और है। आप हर कल्चर, वी स्पीक 78 लैंग्वेजेस इन दिस कंट्री, वी हैव एवरीथिंग दैट इज़ पॉसिबल, वी विल बी द 5th लार्जेस्ट पॉपुलेशन बेस इन द वर्ल्ड। अगर हम सारे इंडिविजुअल इमिटर्स हैं, वी नीड टू इमिट एंड कैप्चर दैट एंड डिजिटाइज इट, because only then will the future generations be able to use the tools to evaluate what is right and what is wrong. Setting the goal is our responsibility, and as a literary festival, I think it is the responsibility of all the writers, all the thinkers, all of those who can genuinely contribute towards content, that आप वो ज़रूर करें। और हुकूमती content जितना है उसको तो compulsorily हमें digitize करना है। दूसरी चीज़ is infrastructure availability. 24/7 alternate energy बिजली होना ज़रूरी है, because that is a cost factor, because उसके बगैर कोई डिवाइस चलता नहीं है। और आपके पास वो कनेक्टिविटी होनी चाहिए जिससे आप दुनिया के नॉलेज को कंपेयर कर सकें अपने नॉलेज के साथ। ये 3 चीज़ें आप कर लें, you will make generations and we will be the 5th largest economy of the world. I keep saying this, that we have the resources, the potential. We just need to put our act together ourselves.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. We have the resources, we have the people, we are going to get that infrastructure that we are looking at. And I'd say one thing, you know, this whole, if I was starting my career, the boss was always the person who had white hair, because he had the maximum experience to run that organization. Today, if you ask today, you will see the organization being run by the young CEOs, 35-year-old, 40-year-olds. What has changed over there? The change has happened that the experience has been caught in the machines. And now the young ones can take advantage of that experience that has been caught in the machines and get the desired results that we are looking at. Yes, the experience that we carry in the white hair can never be replaced. It always had that added value that we talk today, but the generation behind us is running very fast and trying to catch us very fast. That's a reality, and we cannot stop it. We need to be part of the pack. We need to make sure that we provide them the best set of experience that we have carried so they can run the world in the best possible way. And all these tools are going to help us. I don't know, 50 years down the road more, we will say that this AI was the way to go forward, or somebody will say this was a wrong decision. That time will tell. But today, we cannot be back away from that one, and we need to make it part of our lives. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for the wonderful discussion. And over on this one, Mr. Wine, thank you very much for your part that you have been trying over there as well. And inshallah, we'll take the best out of this discussion moving forward as well. Okay. So there are questions. If I'm allowed for 5 minutes? 2 questions. Okay, I will take, yeah.
Just yes or no.
Okay.
Would AI be able to possess conscience in future?
Shahid sir, you have touched it already.
AI is going to do what we teach it to do. So the consciousness is within us. It is how we formulate the ethics within the systems. Machines are only emulating what we are teaching them to emulate. So the consciousness has to be within us.
So I have a...
Coming back. Yes, sir. Back to you.
I also have a question.
I see the mic over there.
I have the mic as well. I just had a...
Yeah. Okay. I will take the third question back to you.
Isn't... Sorry.
Okay. So, pehle aap kar lein, then I come to you back. Ji, sir.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. I'm from Express Tribune. And would you allow me to make a comment, with the question as well?
Sure.
Okay, my first question is that you said that AI had been there for a long time. And even Noam Chomsky was able to make use of it in 1957. So my question is, how did you manage to access AI way back in 1957? That's my question. If I come to the comment part, I think that the composition of panel, I feel there should have been someone who could critique the AI, because we only heard about the one side, that AI is all good. But there should have been someone, perhaps maybe a sociologist, which would have enlightened us what technology's effects have on society. And just one more, I would love to quote this from Will Durant, who wrote in his celebrated book, The Story of Philosophy, that since I'm quoting this because we have praised technology and science to the 7th heaven. So this is a wonderful quote. It says, "Science saves in retail, but it kills in wholesale." Thank you.
1 minute to answer why it was not being utilized from the speed. Although you answered it, but yeah.
So what AI came in 1956, and in 1957, AI is all about algorithms and how you use the algorithms in a manner that you can do and structure things. So he was structuring his language teaching onto that, and that is where he first sort of showed the world of how to use AI. AI, like I said, has been around since 1956. We did not have the processing power. आपका जो दूसरा सवाल था critique का, I think all of us in our own ways have been trying to consciously make everyone aware in this august house that AI is only trying to address as a technology which other technologies have done. If today the world temperature is going above 36 and we are adding 1.5 से ऊपर अगर हम निकल गए, हमने 500 साल में दुनिया का टेम्परेचर 4 डिग्री से ऊपर नहीं किया. अगर अगले 70 साल में या अगले 2030 तक पेरिस एग्रीमेंट में हम ये नहीं करेंगे, we will have serious consequences on climate. Now, how to counter climate is all the data points that are out there that we need to bring that balance back. There are 9 tipping points, we've already crossed 6. So technology can be used for saving humanity, and technology can be used for the damages that it does and the emotional baggage that it is carrying. So the critique that we were trying to do and being very aware of it is very simple, that every human has to understand what is it that we are putting out there and what is it that we are extracting through the help of AI to be doing as enablement or betterment of humanity, or to be in the same rut that we are in. Same rut meaning greed taking over. Only those societies will survive who have consciousness ingrained in their communities, or the machines will take over, because the machines will be capable and we as humans will make them capable to surmount the others. So it is all in our hands. The gun is there to hunt, the gun is there to protect, and the gun is there to kill. Which way do you use it is the trigger which pulls it. So it is up to us how we address it.
One final question, and ma'am, there are too many questions, but maybe we can take it a little later because I've been given the time consciousness over there. One final question over here, and then I can come out of the discussion and talk to you. G.
Hello? Yeah, I'll try and be quick, but I'm going to ramble a little bit because I've been So I think one feedback would have been that maybe the conversation, if the topic was just the promise of AI, it would have been more apt, but I was looking for maybe like use cases of AI within education. There are huge challenges in Pakistan. 23 million people are children are out of school. At the primary level, no one can read at the reading level that they're meant to. There's regional language issues where people are not being taught in their regional languages. At a secondary level, where rote learning and exam prep is not really teaching for concepts, it's teaching just to regurgitate information that's there. Everywhere you look, there are huge challenges in education. I'm still looking for where does AI play a role in overcoming specific like use cases, maybe challenges, maybe regional languages or other things of that sort. What I've learned is that maybe we're too far behind. There's infrastructural issues, content तैयार नहीं है, personalized learning कभी होगी मुस्तकबिल में. But generally that AI is a good thing to be taught as a subject rather than to be used as a tool within our current teaching practice. So as an educator, I was just trying to find where it is that AI would help us. So thank you.
I will partially answer it, and if somebody wants to add on that one. The way our education system is working today, it is still very much dependent on the school, colleges, and everything. I think, and as we move forward, I think this education system is also going to change. This is going on to the technology, this is going to the apps, the degrees, and these things, and the skill development will be combining together. So I think there's a lot of effort right now being put in on providing this digital skill development right now at different forums, especially to the far-fetched areas where the technology is about to reach over there and that backbone is to be provided. I still feel there is still a big gap, but I think technology is trying to cover that in a fast pace. Faisal Sahab or Jibran, you want? Yeah.
Sorry, very quickly. Acha, dekhen, these are the early days, but there are certain things which are in action. For example, COVID mein learning losses report hue. Kids cannot read, they cannot write. So we as a company, we created those learning accelerators. Microsoft Teams, I don't want to go in a product-centric discussion right now, but Microsoft Teams mein wo learning accelerators jo hain, aaj wo available hain. They work directly with the student without the engagement of a teacher, and they coach him or her on reading, writing, maths, जो foundational skills हैं. इसी तरह टीचर स्टूडेंट्स की कम्युनिकेशन के लिए हमने एक चेक इन की एप्लीकेशन बनाई कि बहुत सारे बच्चे व्हेन दे कम टू स्कूल फ्रॉम होम फॉर एग्जांपल दे नॉट फीलिंग गुड, पर पता ही नहीं चलता है उनका इमोशनल सेंटिमेंट क्या है. सो टीचर कैन वर्क विद दो स्टूडेंट्स एंड कैन फाइंड आउट द इमोशनल सेंटिमेंट, एंड देन द टीचर वुड नो कि जी ये बच्चे हैं जो जिनको मेरी आज अटेंशन की ज़्यादा ज़रूरत है. एंड वेरी लास्ट बिट इज़ देयर इज़ अ टूल कॉल्ड क्लास इनसाइट्स, जो बच्चे पूरा काम करते हैं ब्लेंडेड लर्निंग मॉडल में, अगर इम्प्लीमेंट हुआ हुआ है सही से, सो इट जनरेट्स वेरी मीनिंगफुल इंसाइट्स जो कि पर्सनलाइज्ड लर्निंग को केटर करती हैं. सो देयर आर थिंग्स व्हिच आर देयर, द पिक्चर इज़ नॉट परफेक्ट, बट एज साकिब साहब सेड कि कुछ सालों में जाके ये ऐसा लगेगा कि जी दिस इज़ गिवन, मतलब ये हमेशा से था ऐसा ही. I'll pause on this.
So, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I have been warned on the time now 2 times. So thank you very much for the discussion, and this discussion can carry on forever otherwise. Thank you.